Yeah, that's gonna be a pass because I think that's crazy. Hey guys, so I wasn't planning on filming a video today, but then I had this idea for a video and I really wanted to do it. So here I am. Today I am going to be judging a book by its first paragraph, maybe its first page. I am on a mission to whittle away my physical TBR, and I do have a number of books on my TBR shelf that I kind of don't think I'm going to like. And I don't want to spend a lot of time reading these books and then realizing I want to quit them. So today we're going to be judging books by their first paragraph. And if they're not good, I'm just going to get rid of it. If you are outraged by one of the decisions I make, leave a comment below. Maybe I'll pull one out of my unhaul stack if enough people try to convince me that it's a good one. But I have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books here. Most of them are fiction. I think one is non-fiction, and we've got a variety of genres. Most of these I have picked up in little free libraries. A couple are from a book outlet, and a couple are from thrift stores, I think. So let's just go ahead and start. This one actually is from a Christian box, mystery box that I got a while ago. I don't think I'm gonna like this one, just judging from the cover. Also, it's Quaker Brides. I don't normally do romance, and that cover. So I don't know anything about it other than obviously it's probably about Quaker Brides, but I'm gonna read the first paragraph and we will see where this goes. Paragraph-ish, I want to say. Some of them might be like super short. I might read a little bit more than paragraph, maybe the full, like, you know, half a page of a book, but not a whole lot. And in case my throat gets sore here, I've got a nice big mug of tea to get me through this. Okay, chapter 1. This is in Seneca Falls, New York, July 19th, 1848. On the high bench of the farmer's open wagon, Gerard Ramsay tried to take a deep breath, but the heaviness of life, a constant pressure over his heart, made it difficult, not to mention the July heat. Under the cloudless royal blue sky, the New York countryside blazed green with healthy crops and full-leafed trees. Maybe I'll just keep going here. That doesn't really tell me much at all. From the corner of his eye, Gerard observed with increasing chagrin his lifelong friend Kennan Buckley, ooh, that's an unfortunate name, who was sitting next to him. The man's expression radiated a kind of unholy glee. Kennan's devilish sense of humor had lightened their boarding school and university years, but now that they were nearing 30, Gerard almost asked, "This isn't one of your foolhardy pranks, is it?" Actually, that wasn't as terrible of a first paragraph as I was expecting, or first page I guess I read, but not enough to keep my attention. So I think this one's gonna go on the unhaul pile. Let's go for, I guess that was historical, but this is historical fiction, fairly well-known author, Kate Quinn. This is The Huntress. I have heard mixed reviews from you guys about this book, so I'm not sure what to think. So let's find chapter 1. This one I know was from a little free library. That's the only reason I picked it up, because it was free. Okay, so we are autumn 1945. Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce this place. Someplace in Austria. She was not used to being hunted. That's the first sentence. That's not our first paragraph, really. It's not a bad one, but maybe we'll read a little bit more. The lake stretched slate blue, glittering. The woman gazed over it, hands lying loose in her lap. A folded newspaper sat beside her on the bench. The headlines all trumpeted arrests, deaths, and forthcoming trials. The trials would be held in Nuremberg, it seemed. She'd never been to Nuremberg, but she knew the men who would be tried there. Some she knew by name only. Others had touched champagne flutes to hers in friendship. They were all doomed. Crimes against peace. Crimes against humanity. War crimes. Yeah, so this is obviously World War II historical fiction. That wasn't enough to suck me in. I think that I'm going to have to give Kate Quinn a pass. I know lots of people like her, lots of people don't. But there's another one for the unhaul pile. This one I think is fantasy. I picked this one up because of the cover. I think it was on Book Outlet like 2 years ago. The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. I think it's YA fantasy from what I know, but I've never actually read anything about it. It does have a family tree, which can be handy for books. Oh, actually a number of family trees, okay. This is the prologue, Midsummer 1559. Everything's just going to take place in history here. Province of Angelique, Kingdom of Volenia. Magnalia House was the sort of establishment where only wealthy, talented girls mastered their passion. It wasn't designed for girls who were lacking, for girls who were illegitimate daughters, and certainly not for girls who defied kings. I, of course, happen to be all three of those things. That is a good first paragraph. That I like. Okay, I was expecting this one to be like a quick DNF, but maybe I'll have to go a little bit farther in this one. That was very surprising to me. Okay, this one is a non-fiction book. This is The World is Our Classroom, How One Family Used Nature and Travel to Shape an Extraordinary Education by Cindy Ross. This one sounds like an interesting premise. It's about a family that take their kids to a bunch of places and that's how they educate them. I just don't really want to read it for some reason. I'll skip the foreword, skip the preface, skip the introduction. Let's try skipping the introduction because the introduction is often boring in nonfiction. Chapter 1 is called Learning from Play, and there's a quote here: front yards are boring, backyards tell stories. James Stevenson, Backyards, Popcorn. Okay, first paragraph. As I rummaged through the drawer of hats and gloves looking for matching pairs, I heard the tea kettle whistle in the kitchen, reminding me to make hot chocolate for our thermoses. We were dressing Sierra and Bryce in multiple layers of clothing. Todd and I wanted a fast getaway. For tonight we were going out to play under the full moon. I don't know. The one cool thing is, if I remember correctly, there are pictures of them. Yeah, there are pictures of them with llamas, which, I mean, that's pretty cool. But, oh, there's quite a few pictures of them with llamas. And an elephant. Maybe I should give this one a try. And a camel. Apparently just all the animals. I didn't know they went to so many different places. I thought this was, yeah, because they go from, oh, the Canada-Mexico trek. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll give this one a try. I'll put this on my explore a little further. The next one I have here is Farley Mowitz, Never Cry Wolf. According to this, he is Canada's greatest storyteller. I've read one book by him. I wouldn't put him quite in that category. And this is the incredible true story of life among Arctic wolves. Chapter 1 is called The Lupine Project. It is a long way in time and space from the bathroom of my grandmother Mowitz's house in Oakville, Ontario, to the bottom of a wolf den in the barren lands of central Keewatin, and I have no intention of retracing the entire road which lies between. Nevertheless, there must be a beginning to any tale, and the story of my sojourn amongst the wolves begins properly in Granny's bathroom. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a little bit more about like a nature survival story, and I have hardly ever read one of those that I've enjoyed, with the exception of the free verse novel Alone. So I can put that on the unhaul pile. Time for a sip of tea. Okay, next one on my stack is Orchid House. I don't remember why or when I picked this up. Okay, June 1840, Hacienda Esperanza, province of Batangas, Philippines. They would never tell a soul, is the first paragraph. For how could they explain what drew them out of the grand hacienda doors and into the depths of that summer night? He released her hand and pulled her closer. The house stood silhouetted against the night sky. It is finely quiet, he said with a chuckle. Their adult children and young grandchildren kept the many rooms and corridors filled with life-giving noise and activity. The image of them sleeping brought tears to his eyes. Meh. unhaul. Okay, this one is Both of Me. According to the back here, it's juvenile fiction and has depression and mental illness in it. I guess Both of Me, maybe it makes sense in the title. Okay, we'll skip prologue again. Part 1 is Clara. The accent. Tell me where you're from. The young fool crumpled his McDonald's bag and leaned over the table. I could listen to that all day. I took aim and lobbed a chip at his nose. It bounced off his eyelid and still he smiled. Quite the idiot. It's the little things you miss, really. Little, like chips and a shake. Nepal had neither. I stuffed my mouth and eased back. Is it cold in here? I'm thinner than when I left home, and it seems I'm always cold. I glanced around the terminal. After 8 months and hundreds of layovers, they all look the same. Even the faces blurred, travelers different only in age and size. Their voices long ago faded to white noise. I kind of don't even understand that situation that's going on there. So, unhauling that one. Okay, this is one I was excited about when I bought, and then I read one of the books by this author and wasn't impressed. This is Mapping the Bones. I think this is World War II. Oh, and this is the one where I can never... Okay, I just have to find part... How does this work? Okay. I need to figure out how to pronounce this character's name. And then I'll be back. Okay, according to the YouTube video that I watched, it is Chaim, even though it's pronounced C-H-A-I-M. It is a Hebrew name. So part 1 has a thing here. I'm not going to read that. I don't know what that is. We will just start with chapter 1. What did I say it was? Chaim was the first one who heard the knock first. He'd been sitting in the hallway, back against the door, writing in his journal. The letter small and cramped because living in the Jewish ghetto under the rule of the Nazis meant everything was in short supply. He doubted he'd ever get another journal. He'd have to make do, as Mama often said. The paragraph isn't super thrilling, but I don't know if I've really read... I haven't read much anyway as far as from a Jew's standpoint in World War II. I'm assuming, does it say a year in here somewhere? So I guess I'll give this one a little bit more of a try. That's so far only 3 on the try a little bit more, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the get rid of stack. Now this one, the only reason I picked this one up is because someone mentioned I should read something by this author, but they were talking about a different book or something, and then I just happened to go to the thrift store and see it, and it's O. Henry is the author, and this is Heart of the West. And I actually quite like the look of this book. If I want to unhaul it, I might just actually keep it for decoration. We'll see. But this, I think, is kind of more of a Western book. And that, actually, I don't know if I can say I don't like Westerns because I don't think I've ever read one. But it doesn't really interest me. It was first published in 1904. Oh, and it's maybe a bunch of short stories. So the first short story, I'm pretty sure they're short stories, is called Hearts and Crosses. Baldy Woods reached for the bottle and got it. Whenever Baldy went for anything, he usually... But this is not Baldy's story. Okay. He poured out a third drink that was larger by a finger than the first and second. Baldy was in consultation, and the consultee is worthy of his hire. Oh man, this gets, not interesting. I'll keep reading just for entertainment's sake. Okay. I'd be king if I was you, said Baldy, so positively that his holster creaked and his spurs rattled. Webb Yeager pushed his flat-brimmed Stetson and made further disorder in his straw-colored hair. The tonsorial recourse being without avail, he followed the liquid example of the more resourceful Baldy. If a man marries a queen, it oughtn't to make him a two-spot, declared Webb, epitomizing his grievances. Sure not, said Baldy, sympathetic, still thirsty, and genuinely solicitous concerning the relative value of the cards. By rights you're a king. If I was you, I'd call for a new deal. The cards have been stacked on you. I'll tell you where you are, Webb Yeager. I'll tell you what you are. What? Asked Webb, with a hopeful look in his pale blue eyes. You're a prince consort. Go easy, said Webb. I've never blackguarded you none. Yeah, that's gonna be a pass. That's a no. Okay, this one is The Forgetting by Sharon Cameron. This one I bought because there was a bookstore that opened in my little town and I wanted to support a local bookstore. I was so excited. and I like pretty much had read most of the books in the bookstore. Like it, yeah. And then I found one that I hadn't read, and it's unfortunate. They didn't really have much. Okay, chapter 1. I'm going to be flogged, and I don't know why. I'm so surprised about it. Okay, well that's an interesting first sentence. No one could take this many risks and never get caught. I don't want to be caught. I drop flat onto my back without a sound, stretching full length along the top of the wall. A wall that's only a little wider than I am. There's a long drop on either side. I clutch my pack to my chest, squint my eyes against the brightness of the sky. No. I've always known I would get caught. I just didn't think it would be today. That's actually not that bad. I know this is a book about something. Oh yeah, so it's set in a city. Every 12 years, the city descends into the bloody chaos of the forgetting. A day of no consequences and no remorse, when each person's memories are lost, unless they've been written. So it's a very interesting premise. I guess maybe I should give this book a try. Judging from the first sentence was really good, but the very first paragraph was like, kind of pulled me in a bit. So I guess I'll try that one. And then my last one here is Hidden Places by Lynn Austen. And now I bought this without a dust jacket. I never actually looked up what it was about. I don't know if I got this one. I think I got it from a thrift store. And I don't have any idea what it's about. I think that she normally writes biblical fiction or historical fiction of sorts. Okay, no, the prologue is set in 1930, but I'll find chapter 1. Now here's a question for you. Are you the kind of person that skips prologues even in fiction books? Because I think that's crazy. I mean, I'm not reading the prologues for this video's purpose, but you gotta read the prologue. But I know a number of people that don't read prologues ever, and that seems like you're missing things. Okay, part 1 is in the Wyatt Orchard, winter 1931. And chapter 1 is set in February 1931. I had just stepped out the kitchen door into the frozen February night when the stranger startled me half to death. I hadn't heard any automobiles rattling down the long deserted lane to my farmhouse. So when a shadow in the darkness suddenly turned into the large form of a man, he scared me so bad I dropped a coal scuttle full of ashes down the porch steps. I had to clutch my heart with both hands to keep it from jumping out of my ribcage. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This one I feel like, I don't know, I'm on the fence on this one. I feel like it's a little bit dramatic for the situation. Maybe I will give this one a little bit more of a chance. So that is all I have for this, I don't know, trying to clean off my TBR shelf. It was mildly successful. So the ones I'm keeping here are The Queen's Rising, The World is Our Classroom, Mapping the Bones, The Forgetting, and Hidden Places. These are still books I'm not like overly excited about, but the first paragraph or first page was interesting enough that I want to read a little bit more before I decide like for sure what I'm doing. And these are my get rid of because that bit of reading wasn't enough for me. So we got Blessing, The Huntress, Never Cry Wolf, Orchid House, Both of Me, and Heart of the West. So I got rid of more than I kept, which is helpful for my shelf. Slowly I am getting rid of some things on there. So let me know if there is one of the books that I am getting rid of that you feel strongly that I shouldn't get rid of, that you think I would like. Let me know, leave a comment below. Otherwise, this is where it stands. And thanks for watching this random video that I thought of doing today and just wanted to do. Thanks for being here, guys.